Again, it's my honor to introduce our special guest of this evening, Mrs. Lakshmi Ramakrishnan, whom we all know for her captive courage and judiciousness. She is an actor, director, and philanthropist. She made her debut in the Malayalam film Chakkaramuthu in 2006 and has since appeared primarily in supporting roles in Tamil films. She was born and raised in the Tamil Brahmin family at Palakkad, Kerala. She got engaged at the age of 16 and got married when she was 18 years old. A fashion designer by qualification and event manager by profession, Mrs. Lakshmi Ramakrishnan is an entrepreneur. She ran her event management business in Muscat, Oman from 1992 to 2001 before returning to India and acting and directing films. Director A.K. Lokitadas wanted to use Ramakrishnan's house for shooting one of his Malayalam films and offered her a supporting role in his next. Karu Palaniyappan's Pirivom Sandipom in 2008, in which she played the character of Sneha's mother, was her first Tamil film, following which she played supporting roles in numerous films. She portrayed an angry mother who wants to avenge her daughter's death in Mishkin's Yuddham Sei in 2011 and received rave reviews. She also tonsured her head for the once-in-a-lifetime role. She has worked in television shows, acted in the serial Aval in Star Vijay, and hosted 1,500 episodes of the reality show Solvadalam Unmai in Zee Tamil. She has featured in more than 25 TV commercials. In 2012, she completed her first feature film, Arohanam, acclaimed for the sensitive portrayal of mental illness, which received a special jury award at the 7th Vijay Awards. Her fourth directorial venture, House Owner, has been selected as one of the only 2 Tamil movies to be screened at the flagship component of the IFFI Indian Panorama. She has received Tamil Nadu State Film Awards, Edison Awards India, and 6th South Indian International Movie Awards for the Best Supporting Actress role and riveting performance. Now, I invite Mrs. Lakshmi Ramakrishnan to run the show on self-empowerment, take the wheels of life. Ma'am, the show is yours.
Thank you so much. Ellarkum vanakkam. Ellarkum vanakkam once again.
Vanakkam, ma'am.
Vanakkam, ma'am.
Yes. So first of all, let me thank you for giving me this platform to share my experience. Let us straight away go to the topic self-empowerment. எம்பவர்மெண்ட் நம்ம நிறைய பேசுறோம். ஒரு அளவுக்கு போனதுக்கு அப்புறம் நமக்கே வந்து அவி ஓவர் டூயிங் இட்ங்கிற ஒரு கேள்வி வருது. ஏன் வருதுன்னா, I'll tell you என்னோட ஃபீலிங்ஸ் நான் சொல்றேன். See, we are all people who don't have to worry about the next meal, right? இல்லையா? And நமக்கு தலைக்கு மேல ஒரு கூரை இருக்கு. And to a certain extent, understanding a family, a supportive family, I would say. I don't think everybody has the same blessing, but still, ஒரு நார்மல் ஒரு ஜெனரலா எடுத்தோம்னா பேசிக் நெசசிட்டிஸ் ஆஃப் லைஃப் எல்லாம் we have with God's grace, we have to be thankful for that. When I see women coming to my show, it is not 1,500 episode. I have crossed now 2,000 episode ku mela now since I'm doing Nerkonda Parvai also. அந்த விமன் எல்லாம் வந்து அவங்களோட பேசிக் ரிக்வயர்மெண்ட்ஸ், ஒரு சோஷியல் செக்யூரிட்டி கிடையாது. they are brought up in very very என்ன சொல்றது, சேலஞ்சிங் செட்டப். லைக் வீட்டுல நிறைய குழந்தைகள் இருக்கும், there will be a lot of girls, and you know, mindset of the people, the society they live in is very different. Basic education, quality education, even though the government is providing free education, ஸ்கூலுக்கு போறதுக்கான ஒரு அட்மாஸ்பியர் கூட இருக்காது. அதுக்கு எல்லாத்துக்கும் மேல once they get married, they might have to face a lot of other issues like, you know, dowry issues. And the wealthy people manage to you know, have grand weddings, and they set the standards and put the pressure on middle class and lower middle class. So and the mindset இன்னும் இருக்கு, dowry இல்லைன்னு நம்ம சொல்லவே முடியாது. Then addiction நால வர problems, இதெல்லாம் அவங்களோட struggles பார்த்தோம்னா sometimes you feel it has been so, though everybody has got their own rights to say that I'm actually finding life challenging, but when you compare or basic necessities kuda meet பண்ணாதவங்கள பார்க்கும்போது are we unnecessarily blowing it up na நமக்கு தோணும், right? And அப்படி பார்க்க போச்சுன்னா what you feel is our problems are more from the inside, or I would say whatever we are, whoever we are, wherever we come from, whichever background we come from, what stops us from pursuing our dreams, what restricts our freedom of thought is the mindset of the society. What is this mindset? We are part of the society, no? So where does this mindset come from? It comes from us. So basically the empowerment should start from within each one of us. That is why I thought, instead of talking more about empowerment, we should talk about self-empowerment. Once we who come from so-called educated families, financially sort of settled, only if we get empowered, we self-empower ourselves, we can lend a hand for people who are actually in much worse situations. So self-empowerment is what we should talk about. I felt that's why I wanted to share my thoughts on this particular, what to say, this particular movement. I think we should bring it as a movement. 2 days back, I was listening to Amma Jayalalitha Amma's interview with, one of her most famous interviews with Miss Simi. The pain, the ordeal she has gone through. So being in the political arena, being a woman, and also coming from the film industry, she had to go through lot of struggles, and to be in the place where she was, she's a role model to many women. But the fact is that you could be the chief minister, you could be the president of the United States, you could be anybody, or you could be just someone who wants to dream big, or someone who goes every day for work and earns 100 rupees to provide for her family. We all face similar struggles, very similar struggles, and there is so much that has changed. There is yet so much to change or to be changed. And so another thing I noticed is, in my experience, see, I come from a very conservative family setup, though my parents were very broad-minded, in the sense we girls were treated as equals as my male sibling. But when I got married into a family where it was very, very different. So we had our own struggles to be within the system and fight it, and be the individuals we want to be, not lose our individuality. நம்ம பெண்களுக்கு என்ன ஆயிடுறதுன்னா, ஒரு விவரம் தெரிஞ்ச உடனேயே that conditioning starts. ஒரு ஸ்டேஜ் வரதுக்குள்ள நம்ம we lose ourselves. We are not the person who actually we are. And we live for the society, we live up to a certain image. We want to be a good daughter, good daughter-in-law, good mother, good family woman, and then in the process we lose ourselves. It is very difficult to reinvent yourself because of all the conditioning that goes through. So நான் வந்து அந்த ஸ்ட்ரகிள்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருந்தது. Then I was an entrepreneur. Then I had my own business. All that was fine. So it was always within the family, the struggles, the conservativeness and all that, to live up to the good girl, good lady image and all that pressure. But once I stepped into the public arena, public eye, the media, the film industry, till the time I was quiet, I didn't open my mouth, I didn't express opinions, and I was not a known face. I didn't have any problem. Absolutely no problem. Nobody would even bother about me. They wouldn't take me seriously. But once I established myself, I became a known face, and I started expressing my views, and I started sharing my experience. That's it. I became a target, soft target. So which means that this society wants women to be in a place they want us to be.
Exactly.
They don't want us to step out of that line. Once you decide to do that, then you are observed, you are targeted, because there is a sense of there is a sense of people. There are one group of people who feel threatened, probably because they are the flag bearers of culture, or a lot of other things which the society wants to preserve, or pass on to the next generation. So what I felt was, it's almost, I entered the film industry in 2006. Okay, it's almost 15 years. Till 2012, 2013, I didn't have any problem. When I got into Solvadalam on my, when I got started hosting that show, that is when I could reach out to every nook and corner of the state. And I would also say I could reach out to Tamils living in different parts of the world. And lot of things we stressed upon, education for women, freedom and empowerment. All those things we were stressing on. And I had to make a lot of enemies, because when you talk about these things, there are people who don't like it. So from 2013, 2014 till now, 7 years or 8 years has been very, very difficult for me. I wish somebody had guided me, or I had got groomed before I stepped into this. I knew what was in store, or this travel would have been much easier for me if I had been prepared for it, or if I had articulated. I could have still said whatever I wanted to say. I could have still done what I have done, but with more awareness. Right? That is what I'm trying to say as self-empowerment. To make yourself aware, to acquire the skills for your journey forward. For that, you need to know what is your roadmap. Right? So the self-empowerment is all about equipping yourself so that you can live your dreams, and also throw your crutches. When you are in crutches, you can never lend a hand. You will also fall down. So if you have to throw the crutches and help someone out, or bring out a fellow colleague, or a friend, or a fellow human being, let us take it that way, you need to be without crutches. You need to be standing on your own legs. For that, you need self-empowerment. So self-empowerment is very, very crucial. And also, I would say, as I told you, my journey was very spontaneous. It was very intuitive. Um, thank God I have a very supporting, very understanding husband who doesn't, who is not understanding because he want to be the good man. No, he is basically a person who respects women and who respects me. And so it made my life much easier than many of my friends and other people who I see in my daily interactions. Uh, so what I mean to say is, it has been very intuitive. I have learned, I have gathered some experience, and it is not that all of you should go through that experience to learn certain things. You would be wasting your time, your energy, your potential would be wasted in wrong fighting the wrong battles, which I had to do, right? So I'm talking about only my experience, because that is the most authentic information I can share with you, right? There might be many women stronger than me, better than me, more talented, who had more worse struggles, but I'm talking about my experience because that is the most closest thing I could share with you. So you can't learn from your own mistakes. You will be wasting your time. So it is very, very important to, especially in today's world, this 8 years, it is only last 3-4 years which has been more difficult because of social media, because anybody and anyone can target you. And it is, if you are a sensitive person, it is not that you become thick skinned after a certain time. No, you never get thick skinned if you are sensitive. Because you're sensitive to other people's feelings, you are sensitive to the social issues, social evils. So if you're a sensitive person, you will feel bad. It will demotivate you, it will bring you down. For that to combat with all this, you need to be equipped, you need to be self-empowered. So I have jotted down a few points which you could probably take away. What I'm when I look back, I feel this is what has helped me. And when I tell my girls, my daughters, or my students, or my near and dear ones, I would want them to look through these points before they venture into this, this wonderful yet um, battlefield like world. So let me jot out the points. First thing is, you need to be conscious. You need to, whatever decisions you take, try to take a conscious decision. We might face, we might be in crossroads. We might find ourselves in crossroads at many points in life. நமக்கு வந்து இந்த பக்கம் போனோமான்னு தெரியாது. அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு சிச்சுவேஷனுக்கு நம்ம தள்ளப்படுவோம். பட் ஒரு இம்பல்சிவான ஒரு டிசிஷன் எடுக்காம, weigh the pros and cons, கான்சியஸா ஒரு டிசிஷன் எடுத்து, ரெண்டு பார்த்தும் நல்லதும் இருக்கும் கெட்டதும் இருக்கும். இட் இஸ் நாட் தட் திஸ் இஸ் ராங், திஸ் இஸ் ரைட். ரெண்டுக்குமே அதோடாது நல்லதும் அதோடாது கெட்டதும் இருக்கும். பட் விச் இஸ் யோர் ப்ரையாரிட்டி? அதர், ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், நம்ம வந்து if we decide, there are many friends, my close friends, who want to be at home, they want to be homemakers. That's wonderful. I have seen my mom, my grandmother, they were passionate homemakers. That's a great, most toughest job you can do. And that was not a conscious decision. They were supposed to be like that. They were suppressed and they were not given another choice. But many of us have a choice now. And when you take a decision to be just a homemaker, or not just a homemaker, to be a homemaker, or you want to have a career also of your own, weigh the pros and cons, see which are your priorities, and then take a decision. Don't follow the mob, don't follow the crowd, don't go by the general norms in these kind of things. So you take a conscious decision. Then the most important thing is building our confidence. To build our confidence, unless we are confident, even if you build your confidence, you will have self-doubt every now and then. That's a process, you have to go through that. But if you are aware of your strengths and weaknesses, you will be able to overcome the lows that you face in your life. And when you come out of that low, you will come out as a better person, stronger person. For that, the first thing we need to do is look at ourselves, channelize, focus on when you're in a situation which is not too good for you, when you're facing difficulties, when you're facing challenges, uh, um, instead of looking at or trying to put the blame on something else, look at yourself, see where you have gone wrong. What are my weaknesses? What are my strengths? Where should I improve? So once you know all this, your confidence will be more. And that is one main thing you need for self empowerment. Then the skills. For example, I jumped into direction just like that because I was fascinated by filmmaking. And my first film was like, it I couldn't believe that it could garner so much of acclaim. Like I saw the Times of India article saying this is the best film of the year, and people said best film of the decade. I couldn't believe it. I never knew. But as a filmmaker, I know that it was flawed in many places. You can never make a perfect film, I understand. But I could have made a better film because had I been equipped for what I did. There are certain things which are inborn in you. There are certain qualities, like to be, if you're a sensitive person, you will be able to understand other people's feelings. And that is what made me a good filmmaker. I have been interacting with a lot of people. So I have stories in my mind. My mind goes mad with imagination, and all that is fine. But to make a movie, you need to be technically qualified. You need to know what is happening in the film world. I haven't watched films. I haven't got the time to watch film. I was never allowed to watch films when I was young. And when I got married and children and work, I never had the habit of watching films. I didn't know what films were, what shots were, what cameras were available, what is happening with other people in the industry. Nothing. Had I got those skills, I think my journey would have been much more, I would say, fruitful. I would have probably, I don't know, probably I would not have made movies at all. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. I should say that. So once you decide, it's difficult to understand what you want to do in life for quite some time. Like I realized that I want to be a filmmaker at um, 45, 50, 50 years, from fashion designing to event management to interior decoration, and then finally into acting and then filmmaking. So it was a long travel, but I went with the tide, and there was no destination, there was no path, nothing, only God's grace and a supportive, very, very supportive partner, life partner. Um, so it takes time. Let it be 30 years. You explore, you try to acquire skills, you experiment with different things. Finally, you will find where your heart is. Once you start doing something which is close to your heart, which you enjoy doing, you're passionate about, then all the challenges, all the struggles become enjoyable. So it's very ideal to say all this. It's not easy in real life, I understand. But what I mean to say is, even if it is a regular monotonous job, you can find your happiness in that. Let me give you an example. I was traveling once in Chennai, hot summer, peak summer, 1:30 in the afternoon. I was going back home from a meeting or something near IIT Chennai. இதுல வந்து போயிட்டே இருக்கும்போது ஒரு ஒரு ஸ்டாப்பர் வச்சிருந்தாங்க. அங்க பார்த்தா அங்க வந்து அந்த ஐஐடிக்கு முன்னாடி somebody was doing அந்த zebra crossing இருக்கு இல்லையா, கிராஸ் பண்ணறதுக்கு லைன். திஸ் இஸ் மெனி இயர்ஸ் பேக். லைன் போட்டுட்டு இருந்தாங்க. ஒரு ஒரு பெரியவர், ஒரு 50-55 இயர்ஸ் இருக்கும். So I asked my driver to stop the car just to watch him work. புடைக்கிறது வெயில் தாங்க முடியாது நம்மளால. அவருக்கு மேல ட்ரெஸ்ஸே இல்ல, பனியன் கூட இல்ல, வெறும் லுங்கி கட்டி இருக்காரு, தலையில ஒரு கெட்டு. He was painting and then இப்படி படுத்துட்டு அப்படி படுத்துட்டு he was looking at his work. He had so much of happiness on his face, so much of satisfaction. He was getting into the nuances of what he was doing. It's a very regular, monotonous work. He could have complained, no, சூடு வெயில இவ்வளவு கார்ஸ் அந்த பக்கம் இந்த பக்கம் போறது, எல்லாரும் ஏசி கார்ல அப்புறம் அந்த பக்கம் போயிட்டு இருக்காங்க, எனக்கு மட்டும் என் லைஃப் இப்படி இருக்குன்னு அவர் நினைக்கல. சும்மா நான் வந்து ஆனா அவர் வந்து ஒரு பெயிண்டிங்கா பண்றாரு இல்ல, he is actually ஜெப்ரா கிராசிங்ல இந்த லைன்ஸ் போடுறாரு. ஆல்ரெடி யாரோ லைனை போட்டு மார்க் பண்ணி கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. பட் அதுல கூட he found his happiness because that is up to us, that is our mindset. Okay, so once you know where your passion is, try to live your dreams. Sometimes it's not possible. If it's not possible, try to love what you do. Find happiness in what you do. That is one thing. Second, time management. இப்போ திரும்பி பார்க்கும்போது, if now we are doing photo biography, நாங்க இப்போ 38 years of married life complete பண்ணப்போ with God's grace, 37 years, 38 years running with God's grace, நாங்க வந்து ஒரு photo biography மாதிரி பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். ஸோ அந்த பிக்சர்ஸ் எல்லாம் பார்க்கும்போது I was wondering, 3 girls, ஃபேமிலி சப்போர்ட் பெருசா கிடையாது, பிகாஸ் ராம்ஸ் ஃபேமிலி வந்து ரொம்ப கன்சர்வேட்டிவ், ஸோ தே டிடன்ட் லைக் வாட் ஐ வாஸ் டூயிங், ஸோ தே வர் நாட் இன் த பிக்சர் அட் ஆல். என்னோட பேரண்ட்ஸ் வர் பிரிட்டி ஓல்ட், பிகாஸ் நான் வந்து ரொம்ப லேட் சைல்டு. அதனால அவங்களால அம்மா முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு பிசிக்கலா ஹெல்ப் பண்ணாங்க, முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு. பட் ஸ்டில் there was a certain limit because they were very elderly people, ரொம்ப ஏஜ் டிஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்கிறதுனால. இந்த 3 குழந்தைகளை வச்சுட்டு ஃபாரின் கண்ட்ரில வேர் யூ டோன்ட் ஹேவ் ஹெல்ப் அட் ஹோம், நான் வந்து குக்கிங் பண்ணுவேன், வெஜிடபிள் காப்பிங் பண்ணுவேன், அது பண்ணுவேன், இது பண்ணு, எப்படி இதெல்லாம் பண்ண முடிஞ்சது, இப்போ முடியறது இல்லையன்னு எனக்கு தோணும். I think the time management was a skill which we need to acquire. அதுவும் கான்ஷியஸா இருக்குல்ல என்னோட கேஸ்ல. But over a period of time, I think many of the women, working women, நீங்க எல்லாமே அது பண்ணிட்டு இருப்பீங்க. I have seen my sister getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, டிஃபன் பண்ணி, குழந்தைகளுக்கு டிஃபன் பேக் பண்ணி, அவங்க ஹஸ்பண்டுக்கு எல்லாம் பேக் பண்ணி, மாமியாருக்கு வீட்டுல எல்லாம் பண்ணி வச்சுட்டு she'll go. That's very unfair. That's another story. Men all have to share the responsibilities, which is happening now. Only then we can do it. Otherwise, we'll be punishing ourselves. So, in the process, make sure that your spouse shares the responsibility with you. That is also one of the skills, to get them to do it. Okay, that skill you have to acquire. So, and madri. So so time management, lot of planning happens. நீங்க பாம்பேல படிச்சிருப்பீங்க, ட்ரெயின்ல வந்து வெஜிடபிள் கட் பண்ணறது, இது சின்ன சின்ன விஷயம் தான், பட் there is we can learn lots from that. நான் வந்து நிறைய மைண்ட்ல பிளான் பண்ணி வச்சுப்பேன், this is a priority, இதுதான் இந்த ஆர்டர்ல தான் நான் பண்ணணும், இது இப்ப பண்ண வேண்டாம், இது கொஞ்சம் தள்ளி போட்டுக்கலாம், இம்மீடியட்டா இதுக்கு அட்டென்ஷன் கிடைக்கணும், அது பண்ணலாம். ஸோ வெதர் இட்ஸ் ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு MBA ஸ்டூடெண்டோ இல்லைன்னா அந்த மாதிரி ரிஸ்க் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் படிக்கிற ஒரு ஆளோ என்ன பண்ணுவாங்களோ அதெல்லாம் நம்ம எல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு தான் இருக்கோம். அது கொஞ்சம் கூட வேற கொஞ்சம் கூட இது பண்ணோம்னா அந்த டைம் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் we can master. And time management சொல்லும்போது one thing we need to learn is say no when you want to say no. It is difficult. But if you keep doing things which you don't want to do, just because you don't want to say no, because the other person is going to feel bad, or somebody is going to think that you're a bad person, don't take that responsibility on yourself. If somebody thinks that you're bad, it's good, so that you don't have to live up to that image artificially. It's okay, you know who you are. So learning to say no, saying no when you want to say no, will take out half of our burden. 50% of our problems will be solved. I consciously learned the art of saying no. It has helped me a lot. And then learning from our mistakes. We can make mistakes. Let us allow ourselves to make mistakes, but learning from mistakes is very, very important. Generally, we'll forget and then make the same mistake again. But then that is a conscious effort we have to make. And respecting ourselves is one important, an important, significant step in being empowered. We need to respect ourselves. Loving ourselves is the next step. That I'm not going to talk about, but respecting ourselves, our self-respect has to be intact. Only then you can expect that respect from others. And don't be afraid to fail. After all, you tried. Either we learn a lesson or we succeed. Both ways we are winners. So that's it. These are the points I wanted to share with you about empowering yourself. Each one of us is a rare specimen. Nobody can compare us with anyone else. Don't allow yourself to be compared, or don't compare yourself with anybody else. And in today's world, there's so much of uncertainty. There is so much of, complexities. The best you can do is live for the moment, enjoy, grow every minute, empower yourself, and be compassionate and spread love. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Dr. Uma Habiba and the Alumni Association for giving me this opportunity. I would have